Our next section is common camp challenges and sensitive issues. Um, we camp as much as we'd love for it to be this place where no issues ever happen and no challenges are ever met at camp. We do regularly see a number of challenges at camp, and so it is important that we understand how to handle those, and even before that, how to recognize those both as they are happening and as and what we can do to help that situation once it has occurred. So some of the common problems, that's what we're going to learn, is how to deal with those problems and strategies to prevent those problems. And so it says there why this is important. And that's very true that when you've got, you know, in some cases, cabins number 6 and 7 both hold 22. Neither of those are full as of right now. Cabin 8 holds 18. Cabin 9 holds 14. Cabin 14 holds 20, and cabin 19 holds 18. So when we've got that number of people who are with each other all the time, you tend to see kind of the same situations that you typically see in any situation where people are with each other a lot. At first everybody's getting along, and then as people grow tired and maybe they're not, eating or they're not drinking water appropriately, they're not staying hydrated, maybe they're homesick, whatever it might be, but we see a number of issues pop up at camp as the week kind of progresses through. So it's important for us to recognize those things and for us to have conversations with our campers, be in constant communication with them, helping them get through and deal with those issues. And we do have plenty of counselors for us to be able to do that. So we want to make sure that we help out as much as we possibly can. So one of the things that we deal with is homesickness. Some of the symptoms that you might see is crying for prolonged periods of time for no reason, and so we have a lot of campers who go to camp for the first time, and or this is their first time being away from home, and that's fine. We want campers to go to camp and feel comfortable and have that wonderful positive experience that some of you all have had at camp, that I've had at camp. And so we want to make sure that we do everything that we can, especially for those people that are first time away, that we understand that, hey, this is part of growing up and being able to get away and learn a little bit about how to be independent is a good thing, and we want to help them through that process. Stomach aches can be another complaint. We should obviously take stomach aches either whether they're part of an emotional distress or whether they're having a legit stomach ache because of something that's going on. We want to take those things seriously. So if you feel like if you check with them and you've gone through all the protocols, which basically is that the top three questions are always going to be: Have you been eating? Have you been drinking plenty of water? And have you used the restroom? You do not need to go into detail about that, but have you been using the restroom? And if they all of those are yeses, then you may be looking at homesickness, and we can deal with that situation. Wanting to be by themselves is another characteristic or symptom, and then refusing to participate, saying, I don't feel good, I don't want to do that. And sometimes that's just obstinance for the sake of, I don't want to do something. Whether that's, I don't want to sing a song, I don't want to dance, I don't want to participate in this activity. But if it becomes consistent because they don't feel good, then that's a conversation that we can have with the HCP, the healthcare provider, and we can figure out if that's a homesickness situation or if they legitimately don't feel good. So, in addition, how we want to make sure is, if you feel like there's a legitimate sickness issue there, and even if there's not, if you want to, kind of go ahead and try and figure this thing out, the healthcare provider is always available for that. Please make sure that you understand that that person is a human being as well, and that we need to approach them and be respectful. We also, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and if it's not a severe medical issue and it's something that we can handle ourselves, that we, give them the opportunity to get plenty of rest. People perform a lot better when they have plenty of rest. You all know that. And so it's important that we recognize that, not only in ourselves, but in our campers, but also in our summer camp staff as well. We can also keep campers involved in activities. Don't let them withdraw. Keep engaging them. If you have other campers in your cabin that you feel like you can reach out to, and they can serve in that friend or that buddy role, where they can be the person that's constantly checking in with them and trying to get them involved, even better. And that's why, and then asking a team leader if you have one. If you don't, then one of the counselors to constantly be checking in with them and trying to give them responsibilities within the cabin. This is that, and we've talked about this several other times. This is when it's extremely important um, for us to recognize that it that we need to build that sense of camaraderie in our cabin, in our team, so that we can make sure that that's what's happening there. So we can have that open line of communication. We can have, if a kid is feeling a little bit, like, I miss my parents, I miss my dog, I miss my bed, whatever it might be, that they feel comfortable coming to their fellow campers, their fellow counselors, their counselor, me, whoever it might be, that they feel comfortable coming to somebody to say, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and I need some help working through that. Whether that's just a conversation that they need to have at home with a parent or a guardian, we can absolutely do that. You, as the counselor, do not need to let them use your phone, but they need to come to me. Counselors should not be letting campers use their phone. But, you know, building that sense of team and that camaraderie in your cabin and working together, communication can handle some of these issues, so that if they do feel a little bit of homesickness, that they can reach out to somebody and and have that conversation. Find something that interests the camper. Talk about that. Talk about the schedule. Some things to look forward to. If they like swimming, if they like their classes, if they like to go to bed, if they like going to country store, if they're a dancer, if they're a singer, whatever it might be, is getting them engaged in a conversation where it takes their mind away from the fact that they are not at home. Do not promise the camper that they can call home, but if they come to me, there's going to be a call home, just so I can make sure that mom, dad, whoever it might be, is aware of the situation and can start making some decisions about what it is they want to do. And if all else fails, it says enlist the help of the dean of men or dean of women, but if you're in Garrett County, they should be coming to me. Bedwetting is another situation. If this happens in your cabin, you absolutely do not need to let anybody else in your cabin know, other than maybe your counselors. And all of you all should understand that this is a very private and can be a very embarrassing situation. And so everybody should understand that discretion is paramount here. But if you do have that occur, and a camper comes to you and says, "Hey, I had an accident in my bed," then you need to keep that quiet. If it's in the morning or at night or whatever, uh, contact me, and we'll get all of the things figured out as far as washing. But let me take you through the full process here. Child comes to you, says, "I've had an accident." And let's say it's in the morning and you're doing cabin cleanup at the time, but you don't want to, in front of everybody, put on gloves, start putting their stuff in a trash bag, and make it a situation where everybody visibly knows that something has happened in their bed. So, what you say, you can say, okay, we're going to leave this one alone because we want to show everybody that's going to be coming in to look I'm going to be here when the people come around for cabin inspections, and I'm going to say this is what our beds normally look like. This is what it looks like when everybody's beds are made. And so you're just using this person as an example, and then it'll be cleaned up by the time they get back into the cabin. Whatever it is, the reason that you need to give outside of saying, "Hey, they had an accident in their bed," that's fine as long as it's an appropriate reason. Once you get everybody out of the cabin, one of the counselors needs to come back. You need to put on gloves. There will be trash bags that are available to you. Go ahead and take all the bedding, any clothes, anything that got wet outside of the mattress, and take that, put that in that trash bag, and either leave it in the middle of the floor, or if you've contacted me, I'll come and get it. But it just needs to be in a place where I have access to it and I know what it is that I'm looking for. Once that happens, I'll wash everything that needs to be washed, and then I'll bring it back and make that bed. We will take care of the mattress and get that cleaned up as we're making the bed and doing those kinds of things. So don't take the mattress off the bed. Don't do anything with that. We will handle that. Um, as far as if you know that this child is accident prone, fl limit fluids after dinner, a light on in the bathroom, that will always be on regardless. I make sure that they go and they use the restroom before they go to bed. If they need to use the restroom in the middle of the night, they need to let you know, but encourage them that if they feel like they need to go, regardless, that to go ahead and to come up and get you. Um, so that's basic bedwetting. Cussing and profanity. Number one, you should not be uh, you should not be cussing or using any kind of profanity or anything inappropriate while you're at camp. We do have a counselor lounge. Uh, I'm not saying go in there and just unleash a barrage of cuss words, but if you need to walk into that counselor lounge and just have a very brief moment, that's completely fine. But understand that other people can hear you in there, and so don't mouth the words outside. Don't do anything. You should be the first person that observes that rule. If you hear campers who are saying that or using inappropriate language, then you need to make sure that you stop that immediately. If they continue with that, then they need to be brought to me, and we will have that conversation. But please make sure that you handle that appropriately. It's not a situation, I understand that kids should not be going to camp and should not be hearing profanity or should not be using or hearing cuss words at camp. But there's if there's a discipline situation, bring them to me and we will handle it. Um, so anyway, typically it is when they're trying to impress peers or just for the shock factor or whatever it might be to make themselves feel good. Um, but they don't need to do it. I have stood by many cabins in at night over on the boys' side and heard boys while everybody else is asleep in the cabin, deciding that I've got a little bit of freedom here, so I can just say whatever I want. And so please make sure that you are aware that you're monitoring that. I'm not saying stay up all night, listen to those conversations because you need your rest as well. But please make sure that you have that conversation right out of the gate with your campers. That language will not be tolerated at camp, even before you hear the first word. Fatigue. Uh, Campers have the opportunity to get a good night's rest every night. They have times during the day where they can rest. There's usually cabin time at some point during the day. They need to rest. They absolutely need to rest. Monday night is always the worst because they're at camp. They feel like, oh, I can stay up all night long and I can, I'm going to be great. And they can't. And usually Monday or Tuesday morning is not the time when you see the effects of that. It's usually Wednesday, and that's when everybody starts to get tired. They're not getting enough sleep. They're not eating right. They're not drinking enough water. And so things are going on there that's eventually going to lead to them being fatigued. And from fatigue, we get a number of issues that come out of that. So please make sure that you are following the things that are there. Everybody should be in bed by lights out. I think it's by 11 o'clock every night. I think you're back to your cabins 9:30, 9:45 every night. So you've got an hour and 15 minutes there. That's when people need to be going and taking showers. That's when people need to be brushing teeth. And if you have campers that are refusing to do those kinds of things, then let me know. Call me, text me, whatever it is, saying, "Hey, I'm having an issue down here in cabin," blah, and I will come and back you up and support you in what it is that you're trying to do. If you have campers that are like, "Hey, I want to take a shower in the morning," that's completely fine. Just make sure that they do have an available time in the morning for them to go and do that. They should be eating meals. They should not be eating junk food the whole time, and they should be resting quietly in their cabin. If you are in a situation where it's lights out and everybody is trying to get some sleep, and then you have kids who are wanting to stay up after lights out, then, involve me in on that conversation. You kind of operate your cabin as you see fit, but please make sure that your campers understand and that you understand that everybody needs rest at camp, and should not be kept up at the whim of somebody else. Stealing, this is not typically a problem at camp, but occasionally we do have some stealing at camp. And this can all be handled very easily because if people will put all of their items away, if they have money, don't let them just leave it on top of their bag or where it's visible. They should be putting it in their bag. They should be zipping up their bags. And clean cabin, the beginning of the clean cabin awards and all those kinds of things. It was not so that we can make sure that kids are staying clean while they're at camp and cleaning up after themselves. Yes, we wanted to teach them a little bit of individual responsibility and autonomy, and that's important. But the big thing was is that clean up your stuff, put your stuff away, and there's less likely of a chance of somebody taking something that does not belong to them. So please make sure that they put all their stuff away, that they put their money away. If there's anything they feel like is valuable, that's hidden, and but they shouldn't be bringing anything that was overly valuable anyway. Um, Campers and leaders should not be going into other people's cabins. That's to avoid any accusations that could be out there. And like it says there, they should keep their belongings put away. Campers should never, ever, ever be alone in their cabin. Counselors should not be giving campers the codes to their cabins that you all will get on your first day of camp. So please, please, please do not share those with campers. They do not need to feel like, hey, I can just go back to the cabin whenever I want. I've got the code and I can get in. If things come up missing, it's hard to not have accusations fly around if things come up missing and you have campers that are in there by themselves. Missing items, we don't assume that anything is stolen, so we'll check all those areas. Um, but you should never touch a camper's belongings. So if a kid says, "Yeah, that's fine, you can go through my stuff," then another counselor needs to be present with you. But I should be absolutely 100% involved anytime we go through any camper stuff. If you feel like it's probably in their bag. Have them go through their stuff, have them open up their bag. If they don't want to open up their bag, then that's completely fine too. But you can't help them if you can't actually see what's going on in there. But please do not touch camper stuff. ADHD and ADD, we do have some campers, and you all will be given a behavioral and medical list of campers that are in your cabin. That information is for counselors only. It is not to be discussed. And so other campers should not know. I mean, other campers will likely have an idea if a kid has ADHD or ADD or ODD or IED or any of the other behavioral issues that we see at camp, but they should not but they should not be labeled, and counselors should not be like, well, that's just expected. They have ADHD. So, but that information will be available to you so that you know how you can handle and what you can expect from some campers that may have some behavioral issues at camp. Please have patience with those campers. Remind yourself frequently that they're not intentionally being difficult, but it's a wiring issue in their brain, and so it's or not even an issue, but it's just that they're different. Give simple instructions. That may be one step at a time. Okay, I need you to put your sheet on your bed. Now I need you to put your sleeping bag on top of your sheet. Now I need you to put your pillow at the end of your bed, this end of your bed. I need you to put all of your clothes into this. So you may have to give very specific directions and maybe to the whole cabin. Um, just so everybody hears those directions clearly. When you are speaking to a camper, direct their attention to you. These typically they're visual learners, and so if you can show them how to do something, typically they can focus on that and they can mimic that in the future. Limit explanations, don't be overly wordy. Accept the fact that you'll have to repeat yourself. When they do something right, this is important. Recognize and praise that they do something right, and reward them. Maybe they get to be the first one in line to eat in your cabin. Maybe they get to do something special. Obviously, something within the framework of the schedule, and something that is appropriate, but please make sure that you recognize and reward those behaviors. No matter what behavior challenges you may encounter, never use any form of physical punishment while you're at camp. These are the multiple choice questions. Once again, if you have any questions about any of the anything that you saw in this section, please feel free to contact me via my cell phone, which is 859-509-6606. You can also send any questions in writing to me at Eric, ERIC, .comley, COMLEY, at uky.edu. Thank you.